what is Erica? What are you driving, Eric?
So I'm a driver for a grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a goat. Some people call it a trailer spotter. Some people call it a yard hostler. Some people call it a goat. It's just an easier way to move trailers around the yard. Here, I'll actually let you. I'll do this here.
You can hear every once in a while. You'll hear them talking on the radio.
All right, so this is what I'm in right here, right? literally, it's a box.
Wow,
it's just a box. But
I see. It looked like you were on like a snowmobile or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So I move all these different trailers here.
Don't show the sides.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta change my name here. That's left over from another show. No, this one. There you go.
Yeah, we need Larry.
I can leave that like that.
Let's see.
Yeah, now you disappeared, Eric.
There we go. We're large and in charge, baby.
There you go.
Here you go.
All right, you guys ready? We're gonna go ahead and do our intro and then get this going. So I'm gonna hit start.
Right.
Welcome to the Contagion Effect Show with your hosts, Mike Ellick and Eric Mello.
All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Contagion Effect. Eric, how you doing today?
I am doing awesome.
Awesome.
Want to say hello to everybody.
Hugging the horse.
I'm actually chilling on the side of the road in the snow.
In the snow
right now.
What country?
Just relaxing.
California doesn't have snow right now, so.
This would be the Appalachian, the Alps.
Okay.
I'm getting ready for 2026 Olympics.
Perfect.
in the dog sled competition.
Perfect. So today, everyone, I am happy to introduce everyone to for all of us through these years, we've watched so many movies. I hope you watched. There's some great movies out there. Some of us, Adam Sandler movies, watching shows like Friends. We've seen this gentleman over and over in our lives. We have the one, the only Larry Hankin. Larry, thank you for joining us today.
Well, I'm
absolutely.
We appreciate your time today. So we are, we're a small podcast, but we do things a little differently. I'm sure, I'm hoping we're asking I'm sure you've been interviewed a million times, and we try to ask some things so we learn a little more about you.
I dare you.
Don't get us going. Otherwise we'll have to start with the drink of choice right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Hey, what the hell? Let's go for it.
Go for it.
So every show, Larry, we usually talk about like our drink of choice. Eric is a beer guy. He's a craft beer aficionado. I'm more of a wine guy. I love wine, and I'm very, if I had the camera turned, you'd see our wine collection, and then we probably have another couple hundred bottles in the garage since it's cooler right now. And then don't mind the squeaking, and I have 2 Rottweilers, so every once in a while they come running, because unfortunately our studio's in home, or as you see in Eric's little mule there. So when you're sitting around, Larry, and you have the time to just have a minute to yourself, what's your drink of choice?
Almond chocolate milk.
Almond chocolate
milk.
Kind of I don't know. Is that like a disappointment?
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's the thing about us, is we're about everything.
I quit drinking many years ago because I just I got kind of stupid,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to just cool.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, is that part of what you went through in your early years of Hollywood, or is the parties? It was in Hollywood. Yeah, it was when I first showed up. It just drove me to drink.
The struggle was real, right?
Yeah,
the struggle was real.
Oh, I mean, I know. I crashed on a motorcycle, man. I know.
Oh, wow.
So thank you, but.
Well, I read, reading through your website, and when you ended up in LA, you were living on couches and doing whatever it took to get by, right?
Yeah, and then the first money I got. Well, no, I drove it down from San Francisco. I drove a motorcycle from San Francisco to LA.
Oh, wow.
I would never do it. Just don't do that, man, because it started to rain halfway and you can't stop, man.
Yeah.
And it's raining and it's slippery but it was like an omen because, once I got down there, it wasn't my fault. I was a car cut in front of me and I just flew, man, over the hood and and they took me to the hospital. But I turned out fine.
Well, look at you. And you've had a huge career since, right?
But it got me straight. It straightened me out, man.
Okay.
That'll affect you.
Right.
No.
Well, I will tell you, I worked for, I don't know if you know what Schwann's is, but I call them a big ice cream delivery company. But they actually sell frozen foods and everything. They actually go door to door. They have like a big yellow truck. I don't know if they're in SoCal so much, but I actually hit a guy who was drunk driving on a motorcycle. He dropped his bike right in front of me, and I unfortunately.
Well, good.
That scared me.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it scared me from getting a motorcycle.
If you got a motorcycle, you will sooner or later have some road rash.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just guaranteed. So just, just get it out of the way or wait for it. It's gonna happen, man.
That's a great way to start. All right. So let's take it back to the beginning, right? So you were born in New York.
Born in New York, Manhattan General Hospital.
Manhattan General Hospital. So how was your childhood overall? Like great childhood, good childhood?
Well, my childhood was great once I got outside of the house, but I had a very dysfunctional family, so there wasn't much to that, and it's probably why I'm in show business today. But my childhood was fine. I went to like kindergarten, public school, high school, and then I went away to college, and that was okay. I was a lifeguard for a while. That was the only thing about my childhood. You had to be like 18 or 16 or 17 or I don't know.
Right.
But that's the only thing that stands out. Other than that, what else? Oh, I was a pyroman. I was an arsonist. I was a pyromaniac. Yeah, I lit fires. I was a firebug when I was a kid. That stands out. Yeah.
So
I set my backyard on fire when I was a little kid.
No, I'm talking about billboards and barns, man.
I'm low key.
Okay, Eric, you're small.
All right,
time. He's big time.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll just sit here and shut up.
Yeah.
That guy was serious.
Oh yeah. Wow. Okay. All right.
But I was also young, so I didn't know how serious I was. I mean, it started at 4 when I almost blew my face off with fire stuff, and then I went to a billboard, and then there was years in between. In other words, each time I got so shocked.
You had to build back up to conquer the next one.
Cooled it for about a year or two, but the anger started to come out, and then I would burn down the billboard, and then that cooled me out because the fire department came to my house.
Oh,
but my mother. Here's the thing: the firemen came to my apartment house, and they knocked on the door. I ran home when as soon as I saw the billboard going up, and we couldn't stop it. We all split, and I was only, I don't know, maybe 10. I think I was about 10, and so I ran home. It was only 3 blocks, and I just sat in my bedroom. And then I heard the knock on the door, and I came out and I hid behind the couch to listen. And there's a fireman in full fire regalia, man. He had just put out some sort of huge fire. Not saying what.
Right.
And they said, Ms. Hankin, do you have a son, young son? Yeah. I didn't tell my mom what had it just gone.
Of course not.
And you have a young son? Yeah. there's a billboard that just burned down on the boulevard down there. And they said they saw 3 kids running away, and they said one of them might have been your son. Where has he been for the last hour? And she said, oh, my son has been with me all day right here. And he said, okay, thank you, ma'am. And he left. And I thought, wow, my mom loves me. She died for me. So that was kind of proof positive right there. So I cooled it on the firebug stuff until we moved about a year later. And then I burned down the barn right across the road from us. Again, I wanted to just start a little fire. I wasn't into huge blazes that I would watch. I was into small fires like was it Eric? Yeah, like Eric.
Yeah.
And but they always got out of hand because the rule was, okay, just let it go. Just no, we got to put it out. We got to, my other buddies. No, we got to put it out. We got to put it out. And I would say, no, just let it get a little bigger. I
want it to grow a little bigger.
And then it would get a little bigger, which was just big enough so we couldn't put it out,
Right.
It was just, oh God, it's out of control. So we got to get out of here. So the barn burned down.
Wow.
Too bad,
how did you get past that desire? Trouble?
How did I get, well, I was nearly caught with the barn thing, and I was like maybe 11 or 12, 13 or 14. I was getting into the area where I could be held responsible.
Oh.
And that kind of scared me a little. And then I tried to do different things. I said, okay, enough with the fire. I'm going to get caught. So what I did was, it's kind of stupid. I can't explain it. I don't know why, but this is what got me off of it. There was a lot across the street, and the barn was in the lot, and it went, and there was no houses around, luckily. So no other houses were in danger. It was just a barn on a big, huge empty lot. And by mistake, I just wanted to set one of the shingles on fire. And what I didn't understand was it was a shingled barn that just for you arsonists, I'll give you a little heads up.
Oh shit! A little one-on-one action.
Yeah. So when you light a fire, I had a magnifying glass. The challenge was to see if I could set an old rotten shingle, a barn shingle. It was dilapidated and abandoned. On fire with a magnifying glass, just a shingle, just a piece of wood. So then it was sun, and it was afternoon, and it was sunny, and so I got a boom in it, and I started to see the shingle smoking, and I thought, okay, that's good enough. Well, what I didn't realize, and what you got to understand is, the shingle, it actually burned right through the shingle. The shingle was very thin. So and that was what was smoking, and I didn't see any flames, but underneath, the fire started. And so the fire started to burn underneath and went underneath all the shingles and was burning under the shingles. So, and then it came out about up here. And then all of a sudden the flame came out there. Well, I looked, oh my God, it's burning in. And it had burned through the wall, because it was an old barn, into the inside. So now the inside is on fire, and I split, I mean, no sense in hanging around. I know what's going to happen. It's going to burn down.
So I got away with that one.
That's good. So I left. So I didn't get caught. But soon after that, there was weeds in this lot too. A lot of weeds. So I found an army shovel, and an army shovel you can fold the shovel part down, the spade part. It folds up. So I had it like an L. So what I was doing, and I don't know why, and I can't explain this, I'll just tell you what I did. I got weeds. I dug under the weeds so I could get the plant, the roots. So now I had a plant on this shovel blade, that was like this. So, and I carried it, and I did that for about 2 hours, carried each weed, and I weeded the road in front of my house. I weeded so that there was just weeds across the road. It was just the cars would stop and honk, and then they would back up, or then finally a couple of the drivers just drove through the weeds. Just drove over them.
Wow. That's
Somebody
wow.
also called the cops while all this was going on, and it was right in front of my house, man. So the cops showed up, and this time my mom couldn't cover for me. There was all these crushed weeds out in front of the house, and I had the spade, the shovel. So
Right.
so that I just said, okay, I'm off that. But the whole point was my dad. I mean, we just fought, and so I was just kind of, what do you call it? Expressing it in my own childish way. But it was just me and my dad. We never got along, ever.
Sorry to hear that.
Well,
So-
no, it's just it just changed my direction, and it kind of hipped me to a lot of things. It kind of wised me up a little,
Right.
Man.
When it seems you found the comedy in some of it, right? So
Well, it started heading me towards show business. Was kind of, I think, the end of it, where it was heading. I mean,
right.
He wanted me to go to college and become a doctor or a lawyer, and I didn't want to go to college.
Well,
So I went to college because I was a good kid. I was trying to, my parents, I didn't know I could run away.
Right.
It never occurred to me. Well, just run away. So I just went to college, and then after college, they thought I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer, and or an industrial designer, and I just went into show business. I just started being a stand-up comedian.
That's what's
That kind of led
interesting
into
is-
our next question.
Yeah, how did you end up choosing industrial design? Was that more driven by your parents?
Well, again, it was a mistake. I never thought things all the way through. That's another thing I got to tell. I was dyslexic. I still am. I'm dyslexic. So I think things up until, maybe an hour ahead. So again, with the weeds, I mean, you're going to get caught. It's in front of your house. I mean, what are you, stupid? I mean, the barn is across the street. I mean, you got to magnify. It's all rotten wood. Are you stupid? Yes.
Right. Right.
The answer to that is yes.
Well, and young.
And young and angry.
Right.
So I forgot the question.
No, it was the choice of industrial design.
Oh, so they wanted me to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to be an artist or a funny guy. I was a funny kid. I made my friends laugh. So I wanted to be an artist or be a stand-up comedian. They didn't want it. So I went to college. So they said I could choose any college I wanted to, as long as it was near and they could afford it, and that it had something to do with being a doctor or a lawyer or something that would support them in their old age. And so
That's awesome.
And so I looked, they said, so you can choose any college as long as it fulfilled that. And I was looking at Syracuse University because it was kind of far away from home. And I thought, what about Syracuse? And they said, what do you want to be? What school are you going to go into at Syracuse? And I saw industrial design. And I saw industrial design. I could be an artist, and they don't know. And what they were seeing was industrial design. And what the course was just industrial. I mean, it was calculus and engineering and stuff. But, I thought design, but there was courses in the art school connected to the industrial design department.
Right.
So that's why I stayed. And then I met my friend Carl Gottlieb, who later wrote Jaws, the movie Jaws. He was there, and we were best friends there. So I kind of got along, but once, and then I went to Detroit. The college sent me because I was an A student. I mean, see, if you put something in front of me, man, I just try to do it as best I can. I can't shut that off.
Right.
I won't allow myself to fuck up. I mean, I guess my childhood was that.
Right.
Now let's do something else. So I was a good student. I was a good designer. I designed some good shit.
Well, And I saw you started out really as an illustrator, right? As you started to.
No, I don't know where that came from. That's
Oh,
like
really?
media. I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
You gotta love the media. You gotta love the media. So then with that, because that's what I was reading is that it wrote that you started as an illustrator. So how did
No, I
you?
started out as no. I quit college. I asked. No, here's what happened on graduation day in college. I was in a bar, because we were all celebrating graduating. It was going to be in the afternoon, so this is kind of noon.
Right.
It was late afternoon, so we were drinking and stuff. I wasn't drinking much, just a beer or so. I hadn't started that. And I got into a fight, a bar fight, a vicious, terrible bar fight. And I was just, I didn't win. Let's put it that way. And so I said to my friend Carl, where are you going? I was kind of battered up. And he said, well, I'm going to Greenwich Village. I'm going to New York and I'm going to be a writer. Where are you going, Larry? Well, he said, I'm supposed to go to Detroit, but that's bullshit. I went there, they flew me there, and I didn't like it at all. And anything I said was wrong, I don't like this design. Oh, well, the head of the department did that. Yeah, well, it's still, I expected more from Ford. and so I was marked. He said, don't send Larry Hankin. So, yeah, I was just, I thought, and that was a thought that occurred to me as I was saying things like, why are you showing this to me if we can't eat here? It's like a big, huge, where the CEOs ate. Do we eat here? No, you eat in the cafeteria. Well, then why are you showing this to us?
Oh, that would piss me off
Send
too.
Larry Hankin here. Because the conclusion I had was no matter what I said in Detroit, it was not going to be right. I was not going to say the right thing in the city. It just, so I said to Carl, all right, how about we'll be roommates. Let's go to Greenwich Village. And that was the end of my family life. That was the end of my parents and everything else. And the start of my stand-up. I was really funny. I was opening for Woody Allen and Miles Davis and
Wow.
Kingston Trio. And I did the Playboy Club circuit. It was cool.
Really?
Yeah, I did the right thing.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Really cool.
So what was your first role that got you into acting?
Well, through a very circuitous route, I got into Second City, and then we split from there into, we went to San Francisco, 5 of us and a director from Second City. And we started our own company called The Committee, but that was right above LA. So LA would fly up and, the wheeler dealers and the green lighters would fly up to see the show. It was a really big, we were as big as Second City.
Oh, really?
We were a tourist attraction.
Okay.
In San Francisco.
So where at in San Francisco?
Excuse me?
Where at in San Francisco?
On Columbus Boulevard, Columbus Avenue, in North Beach.
Okay.
In San Francisco.
Eric's a big San Francisco guy. I know he's
the city.
Yeah, he's, even though we don't see him, he's wandering around still.
Oh, there he is. He came out of the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He has to go in and go out and load up trailers.
So they were flying up and they would hire us for a day or a week, just to do sitcoms, and we'd come back because we always had that gig. So it was kind of cool. But then after about a year or two, the original company, you'd go down and you wouldn't come back because the money was so good down there. And so when we lost the original company, and then we had, stand-ins, and it just wasn't working. And then the director left, and I was directing, and then I left. So then Penny Marshall. I was doing, I don't remember the sitcoms that I was doing because it was just, it was just like almost an extra, but it was a featured part, but it wasn't anything. I don't remember. That Girl and other things. But Penny Marshall saw me, she came up, or one of her minions came up and saw me. And no, it was Penny Marshall, because she said she saw a tall, thin guy in the committee, and they were doing they were going to a prom dance. Laverne and Shirley
Right.
episode.
Laverne
I
Shirley.
think I remember that episode.
And she
too.
wanted
Yeah.
the tall guy, which was me, to
Right.
dance with because he was a physical comedian. So she said, hire him. And that, when I did the Laverne and Shirley show and danced with Penny Marshall, that I got an agent, an LA agent out of that.
Okay.
And I never went back. I mean,
So
he just started booking me.
That's probably your first time really getting noticed and
yeah, I mean, you're not noticed if you don't have an agent and they're just coming up to see you, then that's a hit and miss. I mean, it's cool because we had a gig. I mean, we didn't want to go down there. We weren't like, oh, except when we did go down, we noticed, wow, we're getting like $1,500 for a day, or $5,000 for a week. I mean, we're doing a stage show. We were getting like maybe $250 to $500 a week. That was tops.
right.
So,
That kind
whoa.
of leads into one of my questions is, being that you are 6'3", 6'4", and most of Hollywood actors are around the 6 foot, maybe a little bit
Or
taller
under.
or under. Yeah. So how did that kind of play? Well, obviously, like you said, it just played into you getting that role because you're tall, but did it ever deter from getting a role that you think?
Always. I mean, I saw that question on your sheet that you sent me.
Yeah.
And I said, now there's an original question.
Yeah.
Nobody. But the truth be told, all my life I've been fighting that. When I was a kid, I walked hunched over. I just didn't want to be tall because I'll tell you why. It's very simple and very direct. When you're tall in public school and high school, you get everybody line up size places. You ever hear that?
Uh-huh.
And if you're tall, you're last. I was always last. What the fuck, man?
And I was always in the middle.
Short. I wanted to be first. How
Yeah.
are you short? Why is he always first? God damn.
I don't like Howie. Howie's an asshole.
Yeah. Right. So when I started to do now in improv, it doesn't. Well, yes, it got me fired from Second City. Now that you mention it.
Really?
Yes, I got into Second City, and the reason I was not fired, I wasn't fired, but I was let go. I was put on, I don't know, holiday, whatever.
You were put on leave.
It went in a different direction, Larry.
Yeah,
Okay?
well,
Listen,
they said
it's not
no,
you, it's us. Okay.
Viola Spolin, who is the Lee Strasberg of improv, and she was the mother of Paul Sills, who was running Second City. And there was me and there's two other tall guys in the show. And she said, because she was the mother hen of Second City, she said to her son, Paul Sills, who was the director of Second City, there's too many tall people in the show. And so last hired, first fired. I was last hired, and a buddy of mine was fired. There was not only was there too many tall people in the show, there were too many people in the show. There were 9 improvisers. It doesn't work, man. You're not getting enough time on stage.
Yeah.
So it's a 6 at the most, and generally 4 guys and a girl. I don't know why that many, but that's what the rule was. More guys than girls, always. I think we had 4 guys and 2 girls in the committee. So I was, I was always on the short end of this being tall. And so, and when I got to Hollywood, if I was taller than the lead, they wouldn't hire me.
Wow.
So that was a very cogent question you just
So you
well,
never,
that's
never,
what we. Go ahead, Mike. You explain it. 'Cause
So you never work with Tom Cruise, right? Because he's
he's
pretty small.
I'm sure. But then when you reach a certain level of expertise, or you get hired a lot, or your
Right.
name, or you get or your pay scale and your billing. Like if you get single card billing, they don't care how tall you are. You know,
Yeah.
you're a
Butts
star,
fill
you're a
seats, right? I
draw.
mean,
Your
yeah,
eyeballs, your ass is in seats. That changes things.
Well, that's why I've always been interested, because isn't Will Ferrell? I mean, he looks like he's pretty tall when you put him up against everybody else.
But he's fucking incredible, man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but so are you. I mean, you're some of the roles you've been in. I mean, it's your name. Unfortunately, your name, like for me, didn't ring out. And then I went and looked. I'm like, oh my god, this is a guy of my childhood and my
That guy.
that
yeah,
guy.
you are
That
well,
guy.
You're
then
that
that makes
kid.
It's the name
you.
of my book. I'm writing a
I'm
book
glad
now.
you-
It's gonna come out. So that guy. I'm that not yeah. But
Well-
see, let me explain that. There's I'm dyslexic. And I got to be famous enough so that just as I was going to break through so you would know my name,
Mhm.
my dyslexia overpowered my star quality. I couldn't. One of the things about dyslexia, it's different for people. For me, all the information goes in. I have photographic memory. It all goes in. But at a certain point, it doesn't come out in the right order. So memorization is what it affects. And if you give me a very long monologue, like a page, I need a lag time. I need about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And sometimes you only get a script within a week. So
Right.
I'd have to turn it down because it just wasn't enough time. I mean, for the extent of the role, it was a small role. So if you notice everything you've seen me in, the reason you don't know my name is they were very short scenes. The fortunate thing was whatever I have, I don't know if it's talent or luck or just the parts that I got hired for, but they were memorable. There was something about them which I just imprinted on your eyeballs, and so they remembered me. But they don't know what my name is. So I was like, oh, you're that guy. Yeah, from Billy Madison. You're Carl. Oh, yeah. Hey, he's the guy.
So with you explaining the dyslexia and you needing the 2 weeks to kind of memorize, do you feel like there were any roles that you passed up that you wish you didn't?
No, because because I'm a fatalist, or a Zen Buddhist, either one. But when I saw that this was too much, I mean, because I tried, in other words, I would memorize things until it became a labor, just very hard, but I would do it, but I'd say, yeah. Breaking Bad was the breaking point. The El Camino was. I had a very. There was two things in Breaking Bad. One was when I kept the cop out of the Winnebago because Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul were in there. So I had to do a whole legalese, and they gave that to me 2 hours before I had to shoot it. And that was a page. That was that's just an impossibility. 2 hours for a page.
Yeah.
Well, and that's got to be hard.
I knew that. I said, I can't do this, but I refused to cop to it. I wouldn't say, hey, I said, when am I going to shoot this? And they said, in 2 hours. And it was the walk and what was it? Yeah, it was the walk and talk. It was keeping the cop out of the Winnebago. And I said, well, if we can break it down, I didn't say I couldn't memorize it. I just said, I would like to, the quote was, I know how to shoot this. I said to the director.
Yeah.
I said, hey, he said, you ready to do this? Because he did a very short scene in the morning and that was fine. And I aced it. Brian thought I was really cool. And so did the director. So 2 hours later, I was going to be given, I was going to do this other monologue. And so they figured, well, he aced this, the afternoon, it's going to be cool. Yeah, but I wouldn't say I couldn't memorize it. I thought because I was in Second City in the committee, I was going to improvise it. So he said, are you ready? And I said, yeah, but I figured out how we can do this, how to direct this. And he went, he was really cool. He said, "Oh, really? You know how to direct this? And how would you direct this, Larry?" When they say your name, it's not a good thing. It's not a good.
No, it's like when your
So,
wife calls your name.
Yeah. And so I said, well, we'll break it up, shoot that guy and then that guy, then me, and then that, how you break it up when you, and he said, no, thank you, Larry. But no, we're going to do it in one whole walk and talk, just one take. And then we're going to send you home and you're all finished for the day. And you do it great, you'll do a great job. Okay. So I said, okay, we'll do it one time, just walk and talk. So I figured I'm going to improvise it. And I did. I actually did. I improvised. It was because they had the legalese in the monologue that I read. I mean, I read it for 2 hours, but it wasn't coming out straight. I'd read it and then it just wasn't coming out. So I just improvised it. And he said, thank you very much. We did it twice. He didn't say, what are you doing? He didn't mention it at all. I improvised the whole thing. All I kept saying was, don't stutter, don't stop, keep talking until you get to the end. I knew the first line and the last line. And he said, it was 100-foot walk. He said, just keep walking to the camera. And when you get to the end, be that as your last line and cut, and we'll send you home. That's it. So I did it.
Wow.
I improvised it, blah, 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 blah. I said my last line and I thought, okay, now I'm going to get fired. Boom. And he said, okay, Larry, that's cool. Let's do it once more for insurance and you can go home. And I thought, what? I memorized that and I didn't even know it. So I did it again. And this time the script lady came up to me and said, and she showed me the script. And when you forget a word, they circle it. And then they say, you got to do it again, but you have to say this word. Or you left out this sentence. You have to say this sentence. So I knew she was coming up and she was going to say, I forgot something. Right. But he said it was okay. And we're just doing it for insurance. So it didn't bother me. Now I could fuck up. He's got it in the can. So I said, fine, And she said, no. And she showed me, and everything was circled. She said, and then she said, I said, well, I got the gist of it. And she said, no, the director wants you to do it verbatim. And then I hear the director say, is everything okay, Larry? And I said, yeah, everything's fine. He said, all right, let's do it again. So I sent her away and I just did the exact same thing. I just improvised it again. And all he said at the end was, thank you, Larry. That's it. Larry's dismissed. Thank you very much, Larry. Put me in a car and I went home.
Sent you away.
I couldn't figure out what the hell had happened. So I had to watch the show. And here's what happened. The director was the guy, I found out later, who wrote the monologue that I was supposed to memorize. So the second line, I memorized the first line. So that when I said the second line, he already knew this guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So he let me go. Okay, I mean, we're here. He's doing it. He let me go. And then he said, do it again, knowing full well I was just going to, screw up or
do the same thing.
Did the same thing as near as possible. You don't improvise the exact same thing. You say, near as possible. And he sent me home knowing full well that what he heard was enough of my improvisation legalese to keep the cop out of the Winnebago, which was all the scene was about.
Yeah.
So so what he did in the editing room was he edited together the right words, and that was the voiceover. And they just stayed on the cop and Aaron and Brian, and they cut to me twice just when I said the exact right thing,
Yeah.
From and if you look at it again, just notice two things.
I'm going to rewatch it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Notice two things. One is my voice, that's me talking. It's a voiceover, and I'm in the scene visually 9 seconds. When I start, there's a full thing of me. I start to say the first line, and as I go into the second line, they cut away. Then they stay away from me, cut, 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 cut. And then they come back when I say something. Takes 2 seconds to say one line in movie time editing. 2 seconds on me, back to them, back to them, 2 more seconds on me, last line, thank you, Larry, boom. All the rest was all voiceover. And it worked perfectly. So and that's when I said, all right, okay, the dyslexia has taken over and I turned down, and then I started turning down roles when I said, how many lines do I have? Right. And then they would send me the script and I'd say, no. So how did I feel about it? I like I say, Zen or fatalistic. I knew I couldn't do it. So there was no, oh my God, I wish I could. There's none of that. Right. You just blow it off. It's not for me. It's just not for me.
Well, I love your honesty with it, is yourself and you know what you can do. And especially once we get to a certain age, it's like, well, what am I going to change? I can't change it now, right? So I gotta do what fits into my guidelines.
You play the cards you're dealt and look for loopholes.
Exactly.
So would that be under the I have that question there. What experience do you have in developing accents for roles or the unexpected advice?
Okay, chocolate. I'm sorry. Now say it again.
It's all good. It's all good. So would that be under the most unexpected piece of advice you've ever received?
What are you referring to?
Eric, what with the advice, what were you referring to, Eric?
Whenever he was saying just to make sure you count your lines.
Oh, you mean, well, yeah, I mean, but in the book, it's in the book. It's I'm telling all these stories that I'm telling you, but it's a book full of them. But no, what you do, or what happens in acting is you can fuck up or screw up or a million different ways. It could be lines, it could be your costume, it could be, I mean, there's stories. I have stories about my costumes refusing to wear what they said, refusing to say the lines that they give me. I was very adamant and singular in my research for characters. Sometimes I wouldn't say what they wanted me to say. Now, in the beginning, you have to say that, but as you get more pay and more box office notoriety, you can change things. And sometimes you change it wrong, or sometimes you bump into the camera, or sometimes, you just can't cry on camera. And sometimes you knock over the set. I mean, there's a million things that can go wrong. Sometimes the lights explode and rain down broken glass on you. I mean, all these things have happened to me. So, and the great thing about movies, the greatest thing about movies is you can do it again. It's only film and the crew can fix it. I'm telling you, if it wasn't amazing. Movie crews, there would be no movies. The crews are incredible on everything I've ever done. I've seen things break. I've seen cameras freeze. I've seen cameras overheat. I've seen scotch tape, duct tape.
MacGyver everything. Huh?
To fix it, man. I'm in awe of movie crews. That's even the second unit movie crews.
And that's awesome to hear, because you don't hear. You see it in all of the end of a movie. You see all that. You don't even know, what's a grip, what's some of a key grip. What are all these different roles? And luckily, like one of because I retired from corporate America and I do real estate and we do this podcast and I'm doing another business for social media. But my love is around video editing, and I'm
really man, that's great.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to, the whole thing, yes, you're from Hollywood. I have one more like Hollywood type question. Then I do want to talk about your book and then your website. And I love your artwork behind you. And
Oh,
you showed
thank
us at the beginning your shirt. So, which I'm going to have to get one of those. I love the hood one. So, obviously it's the big question. One of the biggest shows of all time, right? One of the biggest sitcoms of all time, Seinfeld. And Larry David literally had you picked for Kramer. Like you were the guy. And then Michael Richards ends up getting it. So take us through that process. And
Well, I didn't know about that.
you didn't know till later.
Yeah, you don't know who or what. I mean, you
Right.
hate them all. You know more than they do. Every one of them.
Right.
I mean, and every audition is different, and therefore it's all the same, man. You just go in, you do the best you can, and you walk away, and you dump it, man. As soon as you get on the other side of the door of the room that you were just in, you dump it, man. There is no, oh, shucks, or oh, damn. Or
Right.
you go in, you try your best, it's all ahead of time. You rehearse, you do, get your, oh, I can do this and I can do that. You go in and you do it, and they say, thank you very much. And then you go out and it's over and it never happened. And then you get a phone call or you don't get a phone call. It's that simple, man. And if you're doing anything else but that, you're not going to last too long in that industry.
Well, and look at Michael Richards has now been canceled. I mean, he's one of the he's been canceled for his rant. That
He was an icon.
Yeah.
When I did Michael Richards, when I imitated Kramer,
Mm-hmm.
when I was on camera, right before I started, they're setting up the scene where I was going to imitate Kramer. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, suits, 3 to 4 suits would come down and stand on the edge of the set. These guys in shirts and ties. Idiots. They would come down and they would stand there like this. In a line at the edge of the stage, right next to the camera. And then I would do Kramer, and then they would leave. And then I did Kramer again, and all of a sudden they would show up. And I would say, who the fuck are these guys, man? They just stand there, they don't laugh, they don't do anything, they don't say anything, and then they leave. And then they come back and then they leave. Who are they? And they say, oh, they're the producers, they're the producers. They're the green light guys from Warner Brothers. They're coming down to see that you don't fuck up Kramer. Yeah, that's
Wow.
That's a tentpole character. There's a lot of money on the line. So they never said anything. So I guess I was doing it okay. But it bothered me.
Right.
I mean, I saw them. I mean, I didn't ask until it was all over. But so and if I didn't do it right, what was they're gonna fire me? And I got a lot of roles because I was fired, because people were fired. Here's a phone call I never want to get again. Hi, Larry, what are you doing right now? That's from your agent. What that means is somebody got fired on a set in the Valley and they need a replacement right away. So that's what are you doing right now?
I need you to drive here.
I'm not doing anything. I'm watching a fucking Rams game. Why? Well, they need you out in the Valley. You got to audition. You got an hour to get out there. So you got to drop the whole thing and, oh man, well, what's my part? I'll tell you when you get out there. And already I don't like it because of dyslexia, because now I'm getting my script immediately and then going in. I mean, they give you 5 or 10 minutes. You can,
right.
They say, yeah, well, do you want some time? No, I never wanted time. No, let's just do this, because I just blew it off right there. And then I would either do a good job or not. I'd get hired or not. I mean, again, to me, it was always Zen or fatalistic. I never, in Hollywood, you can't try. You can't try because they smell that, like a dog can smell fear. They can smell he's trying.
Well,
Nah.
what's interesting to me, you being more of a comedian, right? And what
A
does it
mocker.
take?
A mocker. I am
but-
a mocker.
But you're used to getting a reaction, right? You mock to get a reaction.
I react. Acting is reacting, and
Right.
so is satire.
Right. But I think for me, I would struggle. Like if I'm doing that, I want a reaction as well. So like when you're going through and seeing those suits, that would piss me off because I'm like, no, what I'm saying, it's fucking funny. Like you guys need to react. Don't sit there with your straight faces. I don't know. I would struggle.
No,
with
you
that.
see, that's a beginner's attitude, and I
Oh,
had
see?
that attitude, and every beginner has that attitude.
Right.
Hey, I'm here. Hey, let's pay attention. Hey, react. Blah 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 blah. But after a while, because it's always the same, and they don't, and blah 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 blah. So you just stop acting that way, or stop reacting that way.
Well,
You
and I've
just
learned
go
that.
in, you do your thing. Fuck them.
I love listening to all the SNL guys and talking about Lauren Michaels and how they walk into the room. Lauren Michaels is just ice cold every
Yeah.
time they were doing anything. I was like, ooh,
When I auditioned for Paul Sills for Second City, I was trying to, I wanted to be in Second City. That was a big thing because I was young. I wasn't in show business, or I was trying
Right.
to get into show business. I was just a stand-up comedian in coffee houses and in some nightclubs, but I was a beginner.
Right.
So I wanted to be in Second City, and he comes in. So I auditioned for a director. Just you do improv games, just improv, blah blah blah. That's not getting into Second City. That's auditioning for the director. That's the audition. So I got past the first one. Now I'm going to audition for Paul Sills, the director of Second City. Whoa. And I'm all whoa. So I go in, and it was in it wasn't even in a theater. It wasn't even in a theater. It was in an office building, and in an office. I don't know why, but that was in Midtown Manhattan. So I go into it. So there's no show business around. It's an office. And I go in, and there's Paul Sills sitting behind a desk. Then I say, hi, you're Larry Hankin. You here for the audition? I go, yeah. He says, okay. And I was all, ready to, what is he going to throw at me? How do you improvise? And he goes, okay, there's just two things. Okay, Larry. So I'm standing in front of him, and he's sitting behind his desk that's not his. And he goes, two things. One, first of all, major, please don't try to make me laugh. I've laughed enough. Nothing is funny to me anymore. Okay? Yeah, okay, fine. All right, that's number one. Don't try to make me laugh. With that attitude that he had,
Wow.
Don't try to make me laugh. And the second thing is, there's a key hidden in this room. Look for it. Is that it? Look for the key. Don't try to make me laugh. Okay. So I looked for a key. I looked for the key in the room, for about a minute and a half. And he goes, okay, thank you very much. That's it. That's it, Larry. Thank you. Bye. I get a call 3 days later. Hey, you made it, man. You're in. Wow. I'm in Second City. Wow. That was the audition. And that was a lesson. He said, don't try to make me laugh. And he was very adamant about that. When I got angry, like you said, hey, man, I'm here. It started to sink in. Oh, that Paul Sills thing. Don't try to make me laugh. And that cooled me out. You just go in, you do your best. It's about you. It's not about them. When you're making a movie, there's no laugh track.
Mm-hmm.
As if everybody is standing around. If you're being funny, you can't laugh. It's a movie. They'll hear it. So you learn all these antithetical things, these weirdnesses. Don't make me laugh when I'm being, but that's true. That's what happened. So anyway, it doesn't bother me, and I can curse them out. As they're fools. They are fools.
I can appreciate that because I love how you have a kind of I'm going to do it my way mentality.
I can't
love
do it
that.
any other way. If I do it your way, the two is I'm fucked because I never did it your way before. So I don't know what your way is. And the second thing is if I do it your way and I get the job, I've learned nothing. I've only learned how to do it your way. That doesn't apply to any other job I'm going to get because you're not going to be there.
Right. No,
Do it
that's
your way.
something we don't think about when we're, just living our normal lives over here. So let's take it out of the Hollywood thing. And we know
Let's get happy.
you've been in so many movies, so many, well, and a lot of your roles are, I mean, most of them are about making us laugh and keeping us happy, right? So let's talk about the real LarryHankin.com.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and
Okay, the real Larry Hankin. All right, what do you want to know?
so we see it behind you, and as I'm on the art, so there's multiple tabs. We have videos, photos, t-shirts, art, biography, about. I'm on the art tab, and immediately I see, you have the picture on behind, it's your left, I believe, with the gentleman saying shh. I can't tell who that is, if it's supposed to be somebody.
It's a guy in a suit.
Okay, I do see the suit. So art was a love from the beginning, right?
Yeah, I used to, in public school, I would draw cartoons with Stuart, who sat in the seat next to me. We would just pass it back. I never paid attention to school. I was always passing cartoons back and forth.
So you're always doodling. So when did the art really start to come out and really become something that was a passion of yours?
Well, when I had time, when I had time in between acting, yeah, well, you have like a month in between jobs. It's the hardest work is not working. That's really hard work, man. If you don't have a job, man, you're behind the 8 ball. You've got rent, you've got mortgages, you've got a wife, you've got a kid, you've got to feed yourself, you've got a car payment. It's hard not working.
Right.
Much harder than even working the job you hate. So during the time that I had off in between auditioning, I would doodle and paint. And then when I finally got a computer and Photoshop, I was home free, man. I could sit home and just, that's the drawings. There's drawings underneath those paintings, but those drawings were made on newspapers. I would go to some small, place, sit outside and read a newspaper, and I would draw people or pictures or whatever. I would draw on the newspaper, and then I would cut it out, rip it out, take it home, put it into my Photoshop thing, and there I have my drawing, and then I color it. And that's what you see. Those are drawings on newspapers.
Well, I see in napkins. I see you drew on napkins, and
that's amazing. And everything. I just anything that I had.
That elephant is amazing.
And then you just put it into the computer, and then you can color it. See, the computer does the coloring, all that stuff, But it's drawing, hand drawn and then computerized and then blown up. So those are 3 by 4 feet. Those are museum prints.
Okay.
There's the ink that you do that. That's like what's hanging in the Louvre. That ink.
Wow.
That kind of ink. But here's, for $18 on my website, thereallarryhankin.com. I showed you guys this. I made t-shirts. I got 40. There's 40 paintings I have on my website, and they're all on t-shirts.
Yep.
See,
that is cool.
I love how you have
right there.
Some of your roles too.
Here's an if you want it on white, you can get it on white too. Here it's on white. You can get it on any color t-shirt, but this one's right up here. This is in front of me. I stare at this while I'm talking to you guys. Here, this is
the elephant.
Okay. This is my painting too.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, see.
And so you just drew that on either a newspaper or a napkin.
Yeah, I
and
drew
then-
that on a newspaper. And
Now-
with ink, with this pen.
Wow. And then you color it later through
And
your.
then I, put it into my, printer and put it into my computer. And then I just color it. That's all,
Wow.
and then,
Now you
Oh,
have
and
people
then
like the
sometimes-
cowboy. So you have people like the cowboy. Is that you were seeing somebody or?
Oh, that
like
was a newspaper picture.
Okay.
That was a picture in a newspaper, and I just drew next to it. It was a picture about this big, about that big. And I
Okay.
just drew on the newspaper, and then I cut out not the picture, I cut out the drawing.
Right.
I ripped it out,
Right.
and then I put that up. And that one, that's all drawing. That was just me doodling. That was a doodle. There's no picture. I wasn't copying anything.
Right.
I was just expressing some anger about people
Well,
shutting me up or whatever.
Well, you named it authority, so it's obviously
Oh.
something. And anytime you see red, there's some anger involved, right?
Oh yeah.
But I do.
So that's what that's one thing. Okay, then the book is called That Guy. I just wrote that.
Okay.
So that's about 250 pages. I don't know. It may come out on Kindle. I just got an offer from Manic D Press. It's a press in San Francisco.
Okay.
Nice
name.
Publisher in San Francisco.
That's great.
So they want to publish it. So we're going to negotiate now. Now I got to learn that. That's another thing I got to learn. Business. I never reading contracts and stuff.
Did you always have a business manager? Is that what?
No,
your
I never had
agency
any of
pretty
that
much
stuff.
does?
I've always done it myself because
Okay.
I didn't care. But now that I'm doing my own stuff and not auditioning for people, because you have agents to do all that stuff
Mhm.
when you're auditioning when an actor.
Right.
But I gave all that away. I don't have that anymore. So I got to negotiate on my own, and that's really hard. That's hard, man.
Well,
acting
after
is
all
easy.
these
Comedy
all
is easy. Business is hard.
and unfortunately that's what I do every day. So which is why it's hard.
It's hard, man. It really is hard. So the book is going to come out. Now, there is one book out already. It's a satire. It's very funny.
Okay.
And it's on Amazon. And you go to my website, thereallarryhankin.com, thereallarryhankin.com.
The real Larry Hankin.
LarryHankin.com has been stolen, being held for ransom. That's not a joke. That's
I don't doubt it.
So I refused to pay it. So I got the realharryhankin.com. So you go to that and you can buy these paintings, which are $200, $300, $400, $500 a piece, or the t-shirts, which are $13 to $18. And they're all you can get any of those on a t-shirt, any of the 40. So that the book is called the other book is called The Loopholes Dossier. And what it is 7 funny fables, adult fables. They're just funny. They're satire, fable. They all had morals, 7 morals,
Mhm.
and then 2 satirical biographies, one of a politician and one of a homeless guy. And I was homeless for a year. I lived in
Really?
my car for a year.
Well, that's when you first came to LA, right?
No, in San Francisco.
Oh, in San Francisco. Okay.
Right before I came to LA, I was homeless for a year. Lived in a Volkswagen bus, the old green and green ones, the classic ones.
Love the buses.
17 window.
Yeah, well, no, it was. I don't know what you call it. It was scooped out. It was like a delivery truck. There was no fabric, no seats, nothing.
No
It was
innards.
steel. It was just iron, aluminum, whatever is in there. It was empty. And I lived in there, and I had one seat for the driver. We rode shotgun, you sat on a milk box.
Great.
And the driver's seat was really wobbly. I bought it for $5 from a friend. to live in because I had been evicted. Wasn't my fault. I was working for somebody in New York and I forgot to pay the rent. I figured I'd pay it when I got back to San Francisco.
They didn't accept that.
They had kicked me out by then.
Yeah. Well, now that's why you have the renters laws in California.
So the Loopholes Dossier is really funny. It's on Amazon, or go to my website, thereallarryhankin.com. And I don't know, maybe so there's that guy, the Loopholes Dossier, the Real Larry Hankin, and I'm going to start doing stand-up again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or one-man shows. I finally, had enough jokes and talk together to fill an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes. So I started to do stand-up right before I started painting and getting involved in larger parts. So I parked it for a while, but I'm going to go back to that, doing one-man shows.
So where are you looking to perform?
Performing. I'm a performer.
I know, but where are you? Are you certain clubs you're going to be aiming for? I know obviously.
Well, I don't know. It's too far in advance. First, I got to get the book out, which will be in about 6 months. And then, so now and then I'll be painting and trying to set up there's a Patreon channel they're trying to set up for me now.
Yeah.
Larry Hankin Patreon channel. So.
Well, we'll send you some information. Maybe we can get you up at the Gallo Center in Modesto.
Yeah, whatever. And when
Gallo
the book
Center
comes
for the
out,
Arts.
maybe you can do this show again, and talk about the book.
Absolutely.
But that's a minimum of 6 months. Minimum.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. So have you talked about your promotion for the book? Are you going to be going out?
Well, I do podcasts like you guys. I do podcasts now because of these sitcoms that I've done.
Right.
But now I will be doing podcasts to sell my stuff instead of talking about the sitcoms and the movies. I'll be talking about my books and my paintings and my T-shirts and whatever, and my stand-up shows and my.
Well, I'll promise you this: the next time that you come back on, or when you come back on, I will not be up and down and moving around. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of nice that if you were watching the show and you didn't like me, you could watch it, Eric.
Watch me jump through
It's
hoops,
like amazing. Right? It's magic.
Watching Eric play in the snow the whole time.
The ADD or the ADHD or whatever the Tourette's or whatever that.
Eric appearing and disappearing is one of the contagion effects.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, at least we get it, right? I mean,
but I also love your gloves, man. The gloves are cool.
I'm telling you, and they glow in the dark. Oh,
well, they
that's
do.
The best part, yeah.
Oh
they
man,
got some yellow. Yeah, they glow in the dark when they're
one
reflective.
of the better things I've seen. That's cool.
If I come across a pair of hair, how about that? If I come across a pair,
where did you get them? Where do you?
No. If I come across a pair, I'll set them aside for you. Okay, how about that?
Okay, cool.
I'll set them aside for you.
That's really cool.
All right.
They're amazing. Anyway, okay, listen, guys, I got to go. I got to get a haircut.
Hey,
I'm going for a haircut. I'm getting this cut.
Well, that's what makes me laugh is on your IMDb you show as disheveled, and it's like, man, we're used to seeing you with your hair out and kind of froed out, and you're all
I've tried to imitate. You mean for Mr. Heckles?
Yeah, Mr. Heckles. I mean, amongst the many characters you have.
Oh yeah, well, I can't imitate it because some of the people on Cameo. Oh, I'm also on Cameo. Check out cameo.com.
Okay.
I wish you a happy birthday, and I send messages out.
Right.
Awesome.
And so when they say Mr. Heckles, I try to get my hair like Mr. Heckles, but I can't imitate it. So I got to get it cut off.
You can only be you, right? Do it your way.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do it your way.
Well, enjoy your haircut. We so appreciate. I am going to get the hood in the hood. I am going to get that shirt.
Cool.
I love that. I love that painting. I love it.
It's my favorite too.
It's just awesome. So we appreciate your time, Larry Hankin. Check out thereallarryhankin.com. When it comes out, watch out for that guy. We'll make sure when we see it drop, we'll talk about it on our show. Say, hey, we had him on, so we got to talk about his book.
All right, thank you guys.
And then we'll send you the link to this so you can listen back if you want.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
just
please
so you
send me
guys
the
have
link
it.
to this.
All right.
Okay? All right.
Thanks,
All right,
Larry.
Guys, take it easy.
All right, Eric, you stay on, please.
Yep.
Thank you, Larry.
We're gonna send them to our people so they can do like a post interview,
There you go.
just to let everyone, we'll just send them a little post interview action, Yeah, that, I didn't do it due diligence, man.
It's hey, we're obviously still on live, and we are workers, so we fit this in.
Yeah.
Right. I have a little more ability to move my time around. Unfortunately, Eric doesn't. So, but we
Yeah.
appreciate it. Like, I appreciate it. You still ask some questions. You're very involved.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't be hard
But
on
you can
yourself.
you can sit there and listen to him, and that's what I think. I think we kind of go towards that way of when we have our guests on. Hey, you got a story, dude? Go for it. Tell us
Yeah.
about that. That's what I loved about it. That guy's got some energy.
Oh, yes, he does.
He's got some energy.
And he is 80 years old, almost 80 years old.
Gosh, dang.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
when we were doing our correspondence, there was one part where you said, hey, if we're going to go this time, he goes, well, I'll be there if I don't get hit by a bus.
yeah, no.
And there was about 20 seconds today where we thought, did he get hit by a bus?
Well, his response, and then he said, well, I hope not, at least. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Oh, man.
So you how's your week been?
It's been interesting. So we went to the farmers market on Saturday.
Okay.
We went down, we checked out the Modesto farmers market. They have great, it's just fun to get out and go check things out. And as we're leaving, as Cammie and I are leaving, I misstepped and I broke my small toe.
You did.
I
Wow.
broke my
You've been
toe.
holding on to that because you haven't even told me that.
Dude, I didn't say nothing. I haven't said nothing. Dude, it hurts. It's sore. And I'll give you one guess on what Shonda said to do. There's nothing you can do. Here's an aspirin.
There's
an
nothing you
aspirin.
can do.
There's nothing. I know that, but I just wanted something.
You're like, please, just some kind of.
It was 7 different shades of black and blue and purple. And it was brutal, man. It was brutal. So that happened Saturday. But then we had her family come over for the Super Bowl, watch the Super Bowl, and which was awesome to watch for a couple of our fans out there, big Ram fans, and
a couple of our guests. Actually, our guests.
Well, I meant to say guests. I didn't, not fans, but I hope we have more than a couple. But we good?
I think we have a few. Eric's got to deal with some moving stuff around over there. While Eric's dealing with that, I'm actually going to talk about our sponsor real quick because we would be letting her down if we didn't. But thank you to Tamara Pulido from the finance group, where she's creating a future for everyone so they have access to the loan and home they love. And guys, interest rates are starting to go up. So if you've been thinking about buying, now's the time to contact Tamara. With her NMLS is 1655776. We got to worry about the legalese. If you're interested in looking for a great lender, give Tamara a call, 209-204-3795. Again, 209-204-3795. This is where I get frustrated, Eric, because I'm so excited about using the new technology that I've been playing with, and the audio not working coming over to the live. It's killing me. So
Scrabra.
No, I need
Scrabra. It'll happen, buddy.
It'll happen.
First of all, by the way, that was absolutely perfect. The inflection, the delivery, you do such a good job.
Whatever.
If anybody wants to sponsor the Contagion Effect and have Mike read more of these commercials that help support us, feel free. ContagionEffectShow.com. There's a link there.
That's for our shopping. That's for our shopping.
Yeah, and that's for our shop.
But if you go onto any of our podcast channels, whether it's Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
There's a link there.
iHeartRadio, there is a link. You know, we are doing this. Would we love to make money? Absolutely. Hey, the other thing is we need help on who do you want to hear? What do you want to hear? Who do you want us to talk to? Because we will try reaching out to anybody. I mean, we just had Larry Hankin. Larry Hankin.
Freaking Hankin.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you do not know, because like his book name says, he's that guy. If you do not know who Larry Hankin is, go Google him. And if you've watched anything, you will know who Larry Hankin is.
You don't know the name, you know the face though.
You do know the face.
You absolutely know the face. You'll see it. You're like, oh, it's that guy.
Exactly. Which is the name of his book.
That guy.
Which is a great name. I mean, obviously he's heard it.
Like, yeah. Oh, he's that guy.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
He's that guy. How is your week? How's your week been?
My week's been good. We had Super Bowl was here, and we had, you know, my son Cody is a Rams fan due to us having a local friend of his who's actually on the Rams. Did not get to play in the Super Bowl. He did get to play in the last Super Bowl. So he's become more of a Rams fan due to that. And obviously us cheering on for, you know, Tyler and Tim were actually there. Tyler, our gamer.
That's awesome.
Tim was on our dad's show.
The dad podcast. Go download that. That was fun.
That was fun. That was, you know,
I got
Nino
a lot of feedback on that.
And Nick and Tim were all great additions. I know we have to do another one because I have some people, hey, I'd like to talk about being a dad, and
let's do it.
I think we can do a bunch of those. You know, there's enough dad podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, who knows? Maybe might be a mom's podcast.
I know we need,
you know,
I got to follow up with Nino about our veteran.
Yeah, we get a couple veteran women on here. Absolutely. We're not just focused on men.
No,
we will embrace everyone. We support everyone. And, you know, that's the cool thing about this is we just had Larry Hankin on. You know, my schedule kind of changed a bit, but, you know, it's an ever evolving podcast.
We work with
real quick. We're going to be on a podcast.
Yes.
At the end of the month.
Yes. Actually, we need to follow up because I think they wanted to talk to us tomorrow for a little warm up.
Okay.
I just didn't, if you want to reply to them,
okay,
but it's
we can
the Bearded Pack, right?
Yeah. The Bearded Pack on Instagram and all the social media.
Yeah.
Go check that out. They invited us a little bit ago and we kind of said, hey, let us kind of get our thing going and see how it works. But we're definitely going to be involved in that. That's a couple cool guys. That's the thing about, you know, you get the cross promotion. I don't want to call it promoting, but hey, that's what we're doing here, right? We get different people on from different genres. I mean, we all got some beard action. We got a little facial hair, you know. But it'll be interesting. It's a three guys on the I'm gonna mess it up.
The bearded
pack. Thank you.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll definitely reply to them. I haven't checked anything today.
So beyond that, my exciting news for the week is I joined Homes for Heroes.
Nice.
So I am being the real estate. So now when I close a deal, I actually get to give money back to the hero. So that makes me
always
feel
a
really
good thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the best part about it is that it's obviously military, it's veterans, it's police officers, it's firefighters, you know, medical personnel and teachers. So
I didn't know about the teacher one.
Yeah, so it's and I'm looking forward. I have my first training on everything on Thursday, and then I'll probably get all my stuff launched by Thursday afternoon, Friday. So hopefully I can start helping some heroes find some houses or sell some houses. That will be the goal. It's so awesome watching you look around.
God, well, I got two Yankees walking back here.
No, I know, but it's funny to watch on here. But you're
well, let's see how it turns into the podcast, right? Yeah. Well, I don't want to make sure I don't hit that snowbank. You know?
Yeah, don't hit that snowbank.
Yeah.
And then every
Oh,
once in a while, your picture goes and flips, which is hilarious.
Oh,
too.
is it? Oh
Yeah.
man.
It did it. It
Um,
did it a couple times, but hey,
Okay.
that's our podcast, right? We're
Yeah.
just all over the place.
Also, because I know you would close out the segment without even saying anything, but happy birthday to you.
Oh, you tapped out the
Buddy.
sound.
I figured
right.
I would.
All right, buddy. You have a great rest of your day.
All
That
right,
was
buddy.
awesome.
I'll talk. All right,
Thank
my man.
you. All righty.